Hi Cancer, welcome back to my channel Tarot Z. I am Z and I'm going to be doing your tarot reading, finding out what are the messages with the cards that come out in today's reading for you. Thank you so much for joining and being here for the reading. So let's begin. Let's find out what cards come out and what messages come through with the cards that come out. So the first card we have is the Two of Swords. It is in the reverse, but you have some air sign energy with this. You could be dealing with a Gemini or a Libra or even an Aquarius. And we've got the Five of Swords in the reverse. And we have the High Priestess. And with the High Priestess, we do have some more Cancer energy. You could be dealing with another Cancer. But at the bottom of the deck, we've got the Knight of Cups. So this Knight of Cups showing up here at the bottom of the deck, this does feel like an energy of somebody who's coming in. And do you feel like also a sense of being able to have somebody's energy being more open, and also being more so open on an emotional level with this card showing up over here. There's also feels like a romantic energy as well. So it does feel like somebody coming in with very sweet kind of intentions. I do feel like with this Two of Swords showing up in the reverse, this also feels like an energy of being in a space where somebody has gained clarity for themselves. I do feel like there's a sense of being in a very decisive energy, and also kind of being in an energy where it's like this person is also able to lead in a very clear way when it comes to the way that they are also expressing themselves, or the way in which they are coming across. This feels like a relief from especially things like confusion. So this Two of Swords showing up in the reverse, this also feels like a sense of actually being in a decisive energy and kind of choosing, making a choice in this connection with you. I do feel like a sense of choosing this connection. And with this Five of Swords showing up in the reverse, with it in the reverse, this does feel like a very it feels like a very remorseful and kind of apologetic energy towards a situation that may have happened. I do feel like there's a sense of actually being in a space where somebody's regretting something that they may have said, or something that may have happened, and kind of wanting to be able to offer an apology. I do get that with this Five of Swords showing up in the reverse. This also feels like an energy of getting real, especially when it comes to getting real with the way in which somebody is expressing themselves in this connection. And also when it comes to being able to when it comes to the connection feeling more so authentic and kind of coming from a space where things feel like they are getting quite real. I do feel like with this Five of Swords showing up in the reverse, this also feels like a break from any kind of game playing, especially mind games, and kind of communicating in a way that feels very honest. And with the High Priestess showing up over here, I do feel like with this card showing up over here, feels like an energy of kind of struggling when it comes to being able to put feelings into words, or put the way in which somebody wants to express themselves into words. But with this card showing up over here, I do feel like this person actually making the effort. I do feel like also with the High Priestess card showing up over here, this does feel like this connection being one that does go quite deep. I do also get that you are connected on a deep level. The connection feels spiritual. The High Priestess card showing up over here as well. So I am going to clarify these cards. We've got the Three of Cups and the Wheel of Fortune. And we have the Four of Swords in the reverse. And at the bottom of the deck, we've got the Fool card. So the Fool card showing up over here, this does feel like a very open energy. It almost feels a bit carefree. Feels like a sense of kind of having somebody's inhibitions, not holding them back. It feels like a pretty brave energy as well. It feels like taking a leap of faith, and also kind of being in a space where this person is kind of, I do feel like they are following their hearts, or they're following their feelings, or their instincts, or their intuition. And I do feel like with the Fool card showing up over here, feels like an exciting experience or exciting journey when it comes to this connection. And with the Fool card showing up over here, this also feels like very It also feels like lucky energy and kind of being able to experience things working out in the best way when it comes to kind of trusting one's gut. I do feel like with this Three of Cups showing up over here, this does feel like an energy of celebrations. It also feels like a sense of friendship. I do feel like there's a social energy to this, and also being able to actually, there could be a sense of meeting somebody when you're out and about in a social kind of a context. I do feel like with the Three of Cups showing up over here, it feels like good times, or it feels like enjoyable energy, and being able to enjoy time spent with this person really enjoying your company. So get that with the Three of Cups and this energy of friendship, this also feels like an energy of being able to have a genuine connection with this person. Do you feel like with this Three of Cups showing up over here, this also feels like friendships that are already established as well, also kind of playing a role in being able to get to a place that feels more like clear and decisive energy for your connection for this person. With the Wheel of Fortune showing up over here, this does feel like an energy of being able to experience a connection that does go through, you do feel like it could at times go through the ebbs and flows, but it does feel like when it comes to the experiences of the various experiences in this connection, they are they're very meaningful, or they're very deeply felt. I do feel like though with the Wheel of Fortune, there's something about this connection and it makes it one that stands out, makes it one that's significant. And with the Wheel of Fortune, this also feels like being able to have a connection with somebody that you feel lucky to know or to be in connection with. And the Wheel of Fortune card showing up over here, this also feels like divine timing also being at play within this connection. And I do feel like when it comes to things and where things are right now, this also feels like being able to experience it feels very much like it's a learning curve in this connection. And I do feel like the timing of everything also being something that also feels like it's also creating this realizations connection with this person. But I do feel like with the Wheel of Fortune, this does also feel like a bit of a karmic energy in this connection. It is happening because it's happening for a reason. And I do also feel like it's here to teach you something, as well as teach them something. With the Four of Swords showing up in the reverse, this does feel like an energy of being in a space where somebody is ready to be able to, it's either they are breaking the silence, and I do feel like with the Four of Swords showing up in the reverse, this also feels like an energy of being in a space where this person feels ready at this time. I do feel like they may be somebody who likes to move at their own, they like to take their time. With the Four of Swords showing up over here, it feels like a readiness. And I also feel like a lot of energy going into being able to kind of reflect on things and also get to this place. And it does feel like them being in a space where they are more so, I do feel like, more open and even more expressive with the Four of Swords showing up in the reverse. I do get that with this Four of Swords showing up over here in the reverse underneath the High Priestess. This does feel like an energy of actually kind of taking this person out of their comfort zone and them being in a space where they're going out of their comfort zone in order to be able to kind of express something to you, to communicate something to you, but it does feel like them putting in an effort to reach you. So I'm going to clarify these cards. We have let go of control issues. We have true love. And we have the wedding card. So this let go of control issues card showing up over here, this really is an energy of being able to allow the things to really fall into place naturally, as opposed to trying to force or orchestrate the circumstances of the situation. I do feel like with time also, things kind of naturally unfold in the way that they're meant to. I do feel like with this true love card showing up over here, about this Wheel of Fortune, this does feel like a pretty significant connection. It does feel like having a strong mutual connection with this person as well. This person definitely does think about the future, and I do get that they are somebody who has thought about the long term, and also being able to have a connection in for the long haul and having a connection that goes the distance. With the true love card showing up over here, I also feel like on an emotional level, the way this connection makes them feel and the way that they feel about you, I do feel like it's coming from a genuine place, and it does go quite deep. With the wedding card showing up over here, this does feel like an energy of actually having a connection that feels like one that somebody hopes goes the distance. I do feel like they want to be able to have that ultimate vision of this connection. I do feel like with the wedding card showing up over here, there's also a desire to be able to kind of make something exclusive, make something official, and when it comes to what you have. I do feel like with this Knight of Cups showing up over here, it feels like a start, a spark in this connection, but I do feel like there's a desire to grow and to have this connection grow into something very meaningful and long-term and more committed. So those are the messages I'm getting with these cards for you, Cancer, and I hope that you have a wonderful day. Bye, Cancer.